So I built a wall in Minecraft. Why, you may ask? Well, keep all the haters out, obviously. Hey guys, so let's take a look at the process of how we built this wall. Now you can do the same even in survival, though it may take you a bit longer to do so. But to start with, we simply draw out where we want the wall to be, follow along the little pedestals I've already created. Since this was such a long wall, I wanted to make sure I could maintain a stable pattern throughout. So I went with 4 layers of light grey concrete, 4 layers of grey concrete, then some brown, 4 light grey concrete, 4 grey concrete, an extra layer of brown concrete, and then back to light grey and grey again. And I wanted to maintain that sort of pattern throughout the whole build to keep it the same all the way along. Surprisingly, this bit didn't actually take me too long. To do just what I'm showing you took me around 2 hours, and an extra hour for the other side as well. It was also really interesting to try and build something of this scale in creative, without all the world edit tools and all the extra stuff. I just wanted to see how long it would take to do something like this on that scale. So as we move on to the next segment, things get a little bit more tricky because we've got the train tracks, which is coming in from another area that passes underneath the wall. Now, I really like the way the first arch turned out, so I decided to go for the same design, just going over the top of the train tracks. Basically, I formed the shape first to make sure I knew how I wanted the angles to be and how I wanted it to look from both sides. Obviously, because the wall was a couple of blocks thick, I placed 4 blocks out on the lower level of the arch just to cover the train tracks so that anything I placed on top of it would then not be falling straight onto the track. Because, that would be an absolute mess to clean up, and I did actually do that when I came back around to rejig the other archway. And I made a complete mess of it, and it was such a pain to clean up, and it took me ages. So I'm glad I didn't do that on this one, but definitely something to remember when you're building archways like this with falling blocks. So now we'll just come around and finish off the last segment. I still try to keep a similar pattern with the light grey to the dark, and I think it turned out alright. The finished wall, as it would be in creative. Now, I had the idea of adding a walkway along this, but I take that a step further. I jump into world edit, bulk out the wall a bit and do a bit more with it. But even with this design on its own, you can decorate this, put a walkway along it, stairs up it, or doorways through it, that sort of thing. And it's really easy to manipulate its design to suit your needs. Right here, I was in an almost perfect position between the grass biome, the plains, and the desert. And I went with the original idea of making the wall border between the two. So we had grass on one side, inside the kingdom, then all surrounding entirely the outside was desert. So it almost looked like you come from a desert and you go into the gates of the kingdom. It's all green and lush and beautiful, and that was kind of the feeling I was trying to get. And this little area worked out really nicely with that. I had the plateaus on either side and built the wall in between following the plains. I was trying to keep the same patterned look I went for on the front face of the wall, on the rear face as well. Unfortunately, the amount of space and volume I wanted to bulk it up meant it would have taken way too long to obviously hand place or even just full place the block. So instead, I just went with the sphere method and filled in what I needed to and sort of just hand molded the pattern as I went along. Again, I think it turned out alright. Definitely a lot better with the decoration we're about to put on, obviously, since I didn't add too much in the way of those brown concrete accents on the inside. But that doesn't matter too much because a lot of the detail is made out of wood, which is brown, spruce, oak, that sort of stuff. So it definitely integrates it all in. Now you see me coming along with the paths. I basically, from this point on, I was hand placing all the blocks. I just wanted to make this sort of naturally follow along the height of the wall. And it didn't vary too much because I tried to keep the wall the same height pretty much all the way along, just to finish off the little look. We do add a few more details over here, adding fences along the outside, add stairs and slabs to make sure we can actually walk along it and stuff like that. I wanted to do a few different decorations along the build, but I didn't want to fill it up too much and like overtake the wall too much. So as we were doing the path, I started placing the main foundations of where I wanted the decorations to keep it low-key. We stuck with small barracks-like structures, and I did a few different roof types, lookout towers, keeping in theme with the rest of the design. Following this, we moved on to the main gatehouse. We started out by punching a hole through the middle of the wall and basically making this like little walkway through that we could build the gatehouse out of. And I wanted this to sort of, again, follow the line of the wall in a sloping manner. I didn't have too much of an idea of like a solid idea of what I was building here. My general process was instead to basically follow the contours of the wall and the crevices and make it sort of seem like it was meant to be there, which is a weird way to put it. Then we swoop around to the front and we start on the towers. I didn't want these to overtake the wall, because quite a lot of times you see big walls and you see these huge guard towers at the front, and they seem to be the focal point, whereas in this I actually wanted the wall to remain the focal point of the build, but still keep the towers obviously looking good and being quite a large part of the front of the build without taking away from the wall too much, if you get what I mean. And then we continue by adding in the cobblestone and mossy cobblestone, sort of integrating it up with the sand and the grass path blocks on the inside for a nice crossover effect between the plains and the desert area. And this is how it turned out after I finished decorating it. Now, I do want to come back later and help integrate this into the land a bit further as we add more details into the city itself. So yeah, subscribe, stick around for that. I really hope you guys took some inspiration from this. Like, you can get some really natural looking builds out of just using not just concrete, but pretty much any falling blocks in the same manner that we did here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.